We have finally reached match day 8 of the UEFA Champions League. It is time to make some predictions for this match day to see who moves on into the next round. And we will head back to the Predict 6 site that is right behind me here to make our final Predict 6 predictions for the UEFA Champions League and see just how many points we could get in match day 8. And our first match of the day is Athletic Club and Sporting. Both these teams are fighting to stay in the playoff round part of the bracket. It's more important for Athletic Club this time around. If they're able to get a victory over Sporting, the Athletic Club I don't think should worry about anything. But anything less, they will be definitely in trouble. But I think this game is going to be very, very close. I think these two teams are pretty even. Sporting have had a better tournament than Athletic Club, but again, I think these teams are going to be pretty even. I just think this game will end in a draw. I will take it as a 2-2 draw between Athletic Club and Sporting. And next we head to Monaco taking on Juventus. Again, these two teams are in that round of 16 playoff part of the standings. Both these teams, again, trying to stay alive, and like I did for the last game, more importantly for Monaco here. But again, Juventus has just not seemed to be a powerful side as they kind of have been in the last couple of years of the Champions League, and they kind of are where they are right now in the standings is where I believe they should be overall. Monaco maybe so the same, but I just think, again, this is just going to be a very good tie between two teams. And I feel like it's going to be another draw here. I think Monaco should survive the teams that are behind them, but this game is going to end up in a draw, in my opinion. I'm taking 1-1 this time between Monaco and Juventus. Next, we head to Ajax, and they are taking on Olympiacos. Olympiacos is fighting for their lives to stay in that playoff round spot. Ajax, on the other hand, their tournament has kind of been over, although they've had some pretty good results as of late. Maybe this game could go either way. Maybe it might lean more towards Olympiacos as they've had a better Champions League phase. However, yet again, I think these two teams are very similar in stature. I feel like it's going to be yet another close one here. I don't know if Olympiacos will have enough to move on because I think this game is going to end in a draw. It's going to be interesting and going to go down to the wire for Olympiacos, but for myself, I think it will be a 1-1 draw between Ajax and Olympiacos. Our next game between Dortmund and Inter Milan. Both these teams had a fantastic start to this league phase. Both these teams were top 10 in the table through the first couple of matches, but as of late, both these teams have kind of gone down the hill, and more importantly, Inter has gone very downhill. They have lost their last 3 Champions League games here, so they are hoping to have a great result here against Dortmund. Dortmund, on the other side, have mixed in a few losses with a few wins and a draw as well in their previous 5 matches. So, you know, are they going to be? They're definitely expecting a win, but what type of Dortmund are we going to see, really? Right? You know what I mean? Inter, on the other hand, they should be okay. They're going to move on no matter what. But I think they'll probably want to get a win here and possibly get into that top 8 spot, be able to move on and get a little bit of a bye into the next round. You know what I mean? Dortmund, on the other hand, I just don't know what's going to happen here at Dortmund. I mean, they've kind of been 50-50 over the last couple of games. I feel like it's Inter. Inter is kind of got the upper hand here, in my opinion. I know their previous couple games has not gone well, but I think this one will. I'm taking Inter to take down Dortmund 2-1 in the final match day. Next up, we got Frankfurt taking on Tottenham. Now, a lot of people right now are probably going to get upset with me because I feel like a lot of you will probably say, go Tottenham, pick Tottenham. They are the better team than Frankfurt in the Champions League. You know, the better team just overall, let's be honest here. But I have a feeling with the final match day and how unpredictable Champions League play has kind of been in some cases this season, I feel like this game is going to be a lot closer than you guys think at home. I feel like, yes, Tottenham is the better team in my opinion. I have no doubt about that. But with it being the final match day, and with it, you know, teams I think are just going to try and go out with the biggest bang possible. I think this game is going to end up in a draw. I know that's crazy. A lot of you are now throwing controllers at your screen, but I think it'll be a 2-2 draw between Frankfurt and Tottenham. Our next match is between Atletico Madrid and Bodo Glimt, and this is kind of one of those matches where I think it's a bit more one-sided than we all believe. Let's be real. Atletico Madrid's, you know, skill, stature, power is a lot better than Bodo Glimt's in this tournament, and this is a very big case of a one-sided match in my opinion, especially with Atletico Madrid being the home side as well. This game definitely points in their direction, and there's not much else to say about that. I think Atletico Madrid will end the Champions League phase with a 3-1 victory over Bodo Glimt. Next up, we head to a match between Bayer Leverkusen and Villarreal. You guys know how I feel about Villarreal. I've mentioned it almost every single game, every single matchday video I've made. Villarreal is a very, very tough team to play against, and I think Bayer Leverkusen is going to get all of that here at matchday 8. Villarreal, I think, wants to ruin the Bayer Leverkusen party of possibly going on into the round of 16 playoffs. Leverkusen is trying to do basically the opposite, trying to get into those playoffs. But this game, again, I just feel like it's going to be yet another close one between Villarreal and Bayer Leverkusen here. I just really do believe that both these teams play really tough, and I'm going to expect that here. I think this game will be a 2-all draw and be a very, very tough match. Then we have ourselves yet another match like the Atletico Madrid one just a few moments ago. It's Arsenal versus Kairat Almaty. This is another one of those games where it's definitely leaning a lot to one side, and that is the side of Arsenal. Kairat Almaty, the last place team in the table, taking on the best team in the tournament so far, and the top of the table team in Arsenal, who have just dominated everyone they have played and have shown no sign of resilience. Kairat Almaty, it's going to be in tough for you here, but it's not going to happen. I think Arsenal is going to demolish Kairat Almaty and win this game 4-0. Our next game is between two teams outside of the playoff picture, but one team has a shot at moving on, and that is Pathos taking on Slavia Praha. Pathos is the team that has a shot at moving on if they get a victory here over Slavia Praha. Praha, though, have stand in their way, another team at the bottom of the table. I feel like, again, this is just going to be two bad teams going at it. Two bad Champions League teams beating each other up, getting a lot of goals here between the two of them. I just cannot pick a winner, though, out of this game. I feel like it's going to be a very, very close game because both of these teams are very close to the standings, and I think these guys are just going to play their hearts out. It's going to be a draw. It's going to be yet another draw, and I think it will be 2-2 yet again. I think there'll be lots of goals, but again, a very close one between two sides at the bottom of the table. Next up, we got Club Brugge taking on Marseille. Club Brugge trying to get into the playoffs. They need a victory if that's going to happen. However, they are playing a team that is better than them in the table, which is Marseille. You know Club Brugge is going to bring it. You know they're going to do it. It is life or death for them here in the Champions League, so they are going to throw everything at the table to try and get 3 points and possibly get into the playoff round. Marseille, however, can kind of more or less play a bit laid back, or maybe play devil advocate here and try and beat Club Brugge and not allow them to move on. However, though, this is just going to be another one of those games that I've mentioned many times already in this video. It is going to be a close one. It is going to be tight. That's what happens on match day 8. These teams play very, very close to each other, and the games are always very, very good if it's two teams that are very similar in style. And that's what I feel like we're going to get here between Club Brugge and Marseille. Again, it's going to be a draw. It just has to be. These two teams are too close to each other. It's going to be 2-2. Club Brugge, I don't think you're going to get in, but there's a shot here if you actually beat Marseille and not draw as I am predicting. Our next game is between Union SG and Atalanta. Now, Atalanta, with their loss last match day in the Champions League, they fell out of that top 8 spot to get the bye into the next round. So they are going to be eyeing a win here to try and move up yet again, although it's going to be very, very tough today considering the games that we have coming up and I still have not spoken about yet. Union SG played pretty well last week against Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich, of course, just got the best of them. That's what's going to happen when you're playing one of the best teams in the world. I think they have a better shot here at winning this game. However, I just think with how Atalanta has played so far in this tournament, I feel like that's still just going to be a very, very tough task for USG. I just don't think USG is going to have enough to move on here. I feel like, though, Atalanta has enough to win this game and have a shot at the bye. I believe Atalanta will win this game. It will be close, but I think we have a winner in this one. Atalanta will win 2-1. And then for our final game here, before we head to the Predict 6 site, it is PSV taking on Bayern. Now, PSV had a pretty decent start to the Champions League phase here, and they have kind of dwindled out. Meanwhile, Bayern, on the other hand, have looked unstoppable besides that one game they played against Arsenal, and I feel like that will just continue here. Again, I feel like the only way that this game could go awry for Bayern is if they play like they have for the last couple of matches, which they've kind of had a poor start, but then they kind of turn it on in the end. Also, we don't know what's going to happen with substitutions in the starting lineups this match day as well, considering we know some teams are already in, like Bayern. You know, that's always a situation right now, so we do not know. But if I'm just talking straight up team and team skill, this game is definitely going to go Bayern's way. I believe they will win this one 3-1 with a victory in their final match for match day 8. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on the Predict 6 site. Now, every game is on the same day. Every game starts at the same time. So we got 6 games to go through here. And we start with Benfica taking on Real Madrid. Now, this game definitely points to Real Madrid, as you can see by the popular predictions down below. And I do agree with what people are saying as well. I am going to agree here with the 19% of people that say 2-1. I know that's kind of crazy, but I think it's going to be closer than we think. I'm going to take the 2-1 here for Real Madrid. Will Vinicius Jr. score in the first half? I think he will. I'll say yes to that. Which team will score first? I feel like Real Madrid's going to score first. I just have a feeling that's going to be the case. And will there be 4 or more goals in this match? Well, obviously not, because I'm only picking 3, so I'm saying no. There you have it. That's my selection for Benfica versus Real Madrid. I'm taking Real Madrid to win this game 2-1. Now we go to PSG taking on Newcastle. PSG being the home side here, they definitely have the upper hand over our Newcastle side here. PSG trying to hold on to one of those buy spots. I feel like it's going to happen here, and I feel like they're going to win here. I'm going to agree with the 21% of folk that say it is going to be 3-1, so that's what I believe. Which team will score first? I'm going to take Paris Saint-Germain as my choice, considering they have the more goals in the game. What will be the score at half? You know what? I think it's going to be 2-0. I feel like it's going to be 2-0 to PSG, and will Gordon score in the second half? I don't think so. I'm going to say no. So that's my selections for PSG versus Newcastle. I'm taking PSG to beat them 3-1. Then we have the Man City. They are hosting Galatasaray. Man City is one of those teams that are trying to get into the buy spot. Galatasaray is just trying to hold on to their spot here. We have a couple of popular predictions to choose from here, all leading towards Man City's way. I agree with the mass population here, 36%. With the 3-1 here for Man City. So our first thing here is which team will score first. I feel like it's got to be Man City here. I just have to think that, considering I'm picking them to win 3-1. What will the score be at halftime? You know, I think it will be actually 1-1. I feel like it will be closer than we think. I think it will be 1-1. And will Osimhen and Haaland both score in this match? You know, I'm also going to say no to this. I know that's kind of maybe a bit crazy, but I'm going to say no to that. Those are my selections for Man City and Galatasaray. I believe Man City will win this one 3-1 and beat the Turkish side. All right, we got 3 more games to go. We start with Liverpool and Qarabag. All of the popular predictions go towards Liverpool. I don't think there's any doubt about that. However, this time around, I'm going to agree with the smallest percentage of fans here. I'm taking only a 2-0 victory for Liverpool. I know it's kind of crazy, but I feel like that will be the case. What will the score be at halftime? I think it'll only be 1-0. I feel like Liverpool will score midway through the half, but other than that, that's basically it. Will there be 3 or more goals? Well, obviously not. If I'm saying that it's going to be 2-0, I'm going to say no to that. And will Etike score in the second half? You know what? I'll say yes to this. I'll say yes to this. I believe he'll get that second goal. He will score the second goal. Liverpool will win 2-0 over Qarabag. All right, so next game, Barcelona, Copenhagen. This is another one of those where it's kind of leaning a lot to one side, and as you can tell by the popular predictions, it's leaning towards Barcelona to win this one. I definitely agree with that. I do agree, though, with only 15% of people saying it will be 3-0. Sorry, Copenhagen, I just don't see you moving on into the playoffs. Will Lamine Yamal score in the first half? I think so. I'll say yes to this one, just to test my luck. Which team will score first? Well, obviously with Copenhagen not scoring, it's got to go Barcelona's way. And will there be 4 or more goals? I don't believe so this time around. I think it'll just be 3-0, so I'm going to say no to that. There you have it, boys and girls. 3-0 to Barcelona as they dominate Copenhagen. And for our final game here on the Predict 6 site, it is Napoli, it is Chelsea. Chelsea have looked like a much better squad as of late in all competitions. This game definitely leans more towards them. It's them or a draw. It seems like by the majority of the popular predictions, only 11% think Napoli will win this game. I do agree though with the 33%, and I think it will be close, and I'm going to agree with that it will be 2-1. Will McTominay score in the first half? I don't think so. I think that's a bit of a long shot on this one, especially with Napoli only scoring once. I don't think he will. Which team will score first? You know what? I'm going to call me crazy. I think Napoli being the home side, they will score the first goal of the game. And will there be more than 4? Nah, there can't be if I'm picking that there's only 3, so I'm going to say no to that. So there you have it, everyone. My final Predict 6 prediction is Napoli losing to Chelsea 2-1. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we head on out of the Predict 6 site, we have to pick our ×2 booster that multiplies our point total for a single game from 8 to 16. If I had to choose a game that I'm really confident in, and I'm really confident in the score line, you know what? I feel like Barcelona. I feel like the Barcelona game kind of leans that way. I like my selections I made for that game. So that's why I'm taking Barcelona as my ×2 booster. And I will try to get a maximum of 16 points possible compared to the other games that have 8. So those are my picks for Predict 6. So there you have it, everyone. Those are my selections for match day 8 of the UEFA Champions League. Let me know what you think about my selections down below in the comments. Or if you want to make selections of your own, please let me know down there. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet, please leave a like on the video, and as well, subscribe to the Zucc TV YouTube channel, and don't forget to ring that bell to be notified of when I post next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy match day 8 of the UEFA Champions League. Peace.